Okay, I'm allowing, I'm admitting all the people in. Okay, hello, everyone. We are waiting for a few more people to join and on time to start in the next 5 minutes. Let me see if we have anyone else who I didn't admit. Okay. All right, guys, the competition is being recorded and welcome in everyone. Exciting day. And I'm wishing everyone luck in this competition. So nice to see everyone's faces who can join with video and who can't without video is also fine. We are going to have all the teams in the room while the other teams are presenting. And we have 3 judges today, which is Wade Henson, right there. She's waving at us. Julia. Julia, if you can pop in your face, that would be amazing. Okay, Julia doesn't hear me, so hopefully we'll see her later, and myself. Let's see, hold on a second, guys. Please allow me to admit another one. All right, there we go. So I think I got all the people in. We're at 32 participants at this moment. I think a couple more people are joining shortly. So I will let Wade say a word to kick it off.
I don't know if they say gentlemen and gentlewomen, start your engines. Here we go. This is our first strategy sprint. And I just want to again thank Natalia and Stella. Natalia for keeping everything on track and making sure that we made each of the different hurdles to have this event. But more even still, Stella for giving us this event and bringing it from her experiences at Columbia and helping us adapt it to this group of very capable and interesting students from all over the US. And I think we even have a couple of folks that are not in the US. So I don't have a long speech. I think everybody was pretty well-versed on what the competition would be. I'm happy to see some of the mentors sitting in as well. That'll be great to get feedback from them after the event, and you guys can talk about what your group presented, what others did, what did you learn. I think that might be an interesting debrief. But to keep things on track, Stella, do you want to go ahead and get us launched? Is it team 1 and how that's going to work?
Yes, so team 1, you can go ahead and share your presentation. I will be keeping time in the chat. I'll let you know when you have 10 minutes left, then 5 minutes left. And yeah, best of luck.
And is there a requirement to allow questions, or it's at their discretion?
Yes, so questions will be at the end. So you'll have a 30-minute slot. You have 18 minutes to present, and then you have 12 minutes for Q&A. So please keep all Q&A to the end. If you have any questions, please note it down. Wait, Natalia and Julia, and then they will address your questions at the end. And then if anyone else has questions from the group, they could also ask that after the judges. Does that make sense?
And one more.
That was a question I had. So participants can ask questions if the judges have exhausted the questions they needed to ask, and there's time remaining.
Yes.
Okay, and don't ask questions just to stick a finger in somebody's eye. Hopefully they're constructive criticism or constructive questions and promoting a better answer. that would be very nice.
Yes,
Yeah.
so before Stella kicks it off with the first team, just a reminder to keep everyone's on mute while the other team is presenting. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, please raise your hand and I'll see it and get the question going when the time comes, okay? You can also type it in chat. That would be great too, okay? All right, Stella, back to you.
Yeah, so the team can go ahead and you can share your screen and then I'll start the timer. Do you have any questions before we get started? All good? Okay. Yeah, someone from team one, please go ahead and try share your screen.
Okay, team one, do you need a minute to organize? And I was hoping you decided by the presentation day who will be the lead and start the presentation. Do you need a minute to figure it out, or you guys are ready?
I'm just not sure how to screencast.
Okay, Lucas there. Screen share button at the very bottom of your window. If you click on that, it should allow you to do that. Hover over your mouse, like at the very bottom under all the faces.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Okay. Hey, look, and it would be great if you can kick it off, but also letting you know what charity organization your team is supporting. And say a couple words of who is in the team. That would be also awesome if you can. If not,
Maybe
no.
somebody else on his team while he's working on the casting.
Yeah.
Alternatively, Natalia, just because now we have all the presentations, can you also do that? Or here, you figured it out, looks like. There we go.
I would prefer that, you know.
Yeah, no, they got it. We'll get it. Here we go.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. We are the first team presenting the alumnus by myself, Genesis, Luke, Gabriella, Andrew, and Jordan.
Welcome,
All right,
guys.
so this is, I'm sorry.
Welcome, thank you.
Oh, so this is our presentation overview. So we'll talk about the identification of stakeholders, our launch strategy and timeline, the matchmaking process, success metrics, and methods for evaluation, and funding requirements and financial strategy. So McKinsey Internship Media, the most effective method for engaging alumni of prospecting interns. So this is our plan of engagement. First is a newsletter. We believe that a newsletter is the best method to engage parents of prospective interns and the prospective interns themselves. So the digital newsletter will feature our internship website called the Alumni, where it will be first shown during the summer. The main points to include is obviously gaining an internship / case study, and a recommendation from their mentor that they can put on their own resume. This is just a start for alumnus to spread the word to other alumnus. Second, we want to utilize the McKinsey and Company's social media accounts to post updates, deadlines, and incentives. So using the McKinsey and Company accounts, there's an opportunity for prospective interns to socialize and engage with the posts, and ultimately this increases the rate of more people entering the program. Now with the newsletter, which I didn't speak of before, the attached will be like a link to direct them to the alumni, where they will briefly put in their info, and then after applying they go through the matchup process. And the last thing is the communication. We'll use communication via email for following up and answering questions and concerns. The long-term results that we want to have is collaboration and growth between everybody, and these are our steps to do so.
Hi, I'm Andrew. I'll be presenting part 4, the program minimum viable product. We chose for the actual case competitions themselves to occur during the spring as to best match up with the college internship cycle process. A lot of them begin to open up in the spring and summer, and so we decided that getting ahead of the curve a little bit in order to work with mentors and learn and network would be the best way to do it. So starting this summer was when, as Genesis is pointing out, reaching out to the McKinsey alum through the newsletter, getting the word out about the program. And then throughout the fall, the website is launched and people are beginning to sign up for it. The matchmaking process occurring generally in the winter, and then having everything set up by late winter, early spring so that the case competitions can occur. And then after they occur, evaluating based on success metrics that Gabriella is going to cover later in order to see what enhancements can be made, such as the improvement of the matchmaking process, as Jordan is about to cover, or expanding the base of students that are involved in the program. So the minimum viable product essentially for year 1 is just a website that is functioning, can hold these forms and have people apply. The matchmaking process can generally match applicants with mentors where it makes sense, as well as a feedback loop that works and can be used to then improve the program. As for the initial alumni that are a part of the program and kind of what Genesis is saying in step 1, after speaking with mentor Andrew, he described some of his time at McKinsey as being a culture of collaboration and information sharing. If you're working on an engagement that's outside of your industry expertise, you're expected to go to the industry expert and ask as much questions as possible to just learn as much as you can. This culture of information sharing is what leads to an engaged and devoted alumni base that is McKinsey to want to have the alum come back and be mentors for this program. But in order to scale for the future and increase the alumni base, alumni can view this as a way to identify and evaluate candidates in a more effective manner. In the current system, you receive a resume, you maybe have a short interview with them. This is a way to work with them for a week, see their thinking, see their work, chat with them. It is a better way to evaluate candidates moving forward and also allows them to get a second eyes on problems that they may be seeing while they're at work.
Hi, my name is Jordan, and I'm presenting the matchmaking process. So we have various different methods that we could use as mechanisms for solicitation, such as utilizing pre-existing or creating our own online platforms and or job boards, which we could use where we could have companies where companies would be able to post their internship opportunities and we could also leverage networking events and whether again creating our organizing our own or partnering with pre-existing ones and as these would allow companies to connect with students directly in order to discuss said internship opportunities. Furthermore, we could partner with career services, collaborating with places like college career centers in order to promote the internship exchange platform and encourage, as well as encouraging students to submit their profiles and preferences. Some different ways that we can categorize internships involve developing a comprehensive database, where we would catalog internship opportunities, including things like including details such as industry, location, duration, required skills, and company size. And we could further optimize this by using advanced search and filter options. And we would, in order to enable students to more easily browse and find internships that best align with their interests and qualifications. And recent advancements in AI allow us to utilize machine learning algorithms. So we could leverage these algorithms in order to automatically categorize and recommend internships based on the students' given profiles and preferences. As for our actual matchmaking process itself, we have 3 main options, those being fully manual, fully automated, and hybrid. So in a fully automatic or automated matching program, it would be run exclusively by by machine algorithms, and this offers significant increases in scalability and efficiency, and as well as reducing manual workload. And it enables much faster matchmaking based on predefined criteria. However, as it doesn't involve human input, it can often lack personalization and increases the potential for mismatches, especially if the algorithms are not finely tuned, and can also overlook nuances that only human judgment can capture. As for the fully manual system, this would be very old-fashioned and wouldn't involve machines at all. So it would be very hard to scale up, and it would be very, very inefficient, though it would be very good at matching small groups of people to teams and then as for the hybrid system, we think that this is likely the best of both worlds, where we would involve both automated algorithms as well as human intuition in order to make better personalized matchmaking and considerations based on nuanced criteria. And it would be able to address more complex preferences and requirements.
Thanks, Jordan. I'm Gabriella, and I'll be presenting our section on evaluating the impact of our program, as well as identifying success metrics and areas for expansion. So in terms of success metrics, we've identified 4 KPI, the first one being level of participation. So this would include the number, or rather the percentage of McKinsey alumni mentors against the total cohort of existing and former McKinsey consultants. And secondly, we'd like to identify the hard and soft skills gained through the program. And we feel like this metric would be the most directly relevant to the participants who would obviously be joining the program in order to upskill and develop themselves through this sprint. So soft skills would include presentation skills or interviewing skills or learning how to work with a team, and hard skills could include quantitative skills or slide deck building. So we'd measure this through collecting qualitative feedback from participants at the end of the program, supplemented by the individual evaluation of mentees by their individual mentors. And next, we'd like to measure the scalability of the program, which we'd identify through the count of annual increase in mentees and student participants year on year. And lastly, we'd like to look at the relationship building potential for between mentees and mentors alike. And this pertains to the longevity of the program's impact on the networking opportunities between the mentees and mentors. So this would be identified through the number of active alumni and mentee relationships post-competition, which might translate into internship conversions or useful connections to the broader network within their related industries that they might be interested in pursuing a career in. And we'd like to track this through periodic check-ins on a sort of logbook on the alumni social network. So every time they would have, for example, a meeting or a successful internship conversion, that could be logged into the alumni social network periodically. And we'd also like to expand the program towards broader university alumni networks through tapping into the existing participants' personal connections to their peers at university. So this could be at their student clubs and associations, and for example, in their finance clubs or through their classes, assuming that they would have the same personal and professional goals, as well as partnering with career services at the universities in order to get the information about the program to these students. We'd also like to look at expanding this program internationally. So right now, we feel that this sort of sprint is only focused on the US demographic. So especially for people like me based out of places outside of the US, it would be very beneficial to focus on areas where McKinsey has offices globally. So we'd like to reach into McKinsey's broad alumni network to expand beyond just the US.
All right, so the funding requirements and financial strategy. So before we can begin to compose the financial strategy, we need to concretely define some terms or some companies that we have chosen. So we decided to utilize the cloud over on-premise servers because of the scalability and the protection it provides against cyber attacks and its recent popularity over the past 2 years. We also decided that the SAP resources would be most valuable in this context because we have a lot of history with them, and in the past 2 years, we've teamed up with them in a lot of lucrative projects. The cloud would offer a pay-as-you-go system, which also beats out the on-premise deployment strategy. Also, with on-premise deployment, you'd have to consider the RAM and CPU usage that you would be that we would be using over the course of years, which means that we would have to already have case study information, which we don't. The SAP would help us. They would be our primary vendor of technology. They would help us with software licensing and infrastructure. And we would also utilize McKinsey Digital, which is an existing umbrella group that includes I think 2,000 engineers, software developers, and 2,100 consultants across 60 different offices. So our final cost that we came up with was around $500,000 annually, and that includes, it's mostly the technology received from SAP and money that would be spent on creation of departments within McKinsey Digital, and the importance of those departments fluctuates. It actually just changes once after the case study, where branding and SEO, which is kind of like a dynamic tool for branding, they develop after we have information from the case study. Also, in terms of searching for servers that would be appropriate for hosting our level of traffic, any of the major ones work: Azure, Google Cloud, or Amazon, or AWS. But there are those are probably the 3 top ones that we would want to consider, considering that their power usage effectiveness, which is kind of like an environmental indicator of how efficient their servers are. We've done business with all of them in the past, and their services are relatively the same price. They all follow pay-as-you-go model and are also SAP supported. Again, the entire budget that we would recommend for this project is $500,000, and that would include all the hardware, software, initial designs, and continuous upkeep, as well as marketing.
Thank you so much, Luke. Appreciate your presentation, guys. Now it's time for Q&A. We'll have a few minutes. So if there are any questions, please, guys, feel free to raise your hand and ask, or unmute yourself.
Should we keep the presentation up during the Q&A, or should we stop the share?
You
You
can
can keep it up just in case
keep it
there's a
up,
reference
yes.
to a particular slide.
Mhm.
Yeah, so one of the questions I had was the reliance on McKinsey direct assets versus what we're more doing here, which is an informal or unofficial McKinsey alumni organization. Is this thing viable without tapping into, McKinsey corporate, or can we do it offsite, in a way that allows us flexibilities that the firm may or may not support?
Absolutely. So I got some quotes from some third-party companies that would also that could be involved in the hosting themselves or the deployment. And they generally cost anywhere from 100,000 to 500,000. So it's going to be around the same price range, but it would be more out of line with what we've done in past years.
Okay.
Okay, any more questions, guys?
Yeah, and I like the idea of the, expanding it, to other geos, because I recognize, if you're in Asia, it's hard to participate in North American timeline. I've worked from Asia for months at a time, and it's not easy to do. You're up at midnight and 2 a.m. Do we have any indication that an Asian alumni network would be as interested without sort of the direct contact to the alumni group that's already been assembled here, in the US? which is what we leveraged to pull this first one off. So I guess maybe Gabby, how would we reach that audience without having the starting point of as many, alumni in Asia that we know as part of this group?
So I could be a case study. So I'm currently in Singapore and it's 1:30 a.m. We could definitely have a separate coalition of participants from the Asian time zone, so that would be easier to coordinate. In terms of amassing enough interest from potential participants, mentee participants in Asia, I think we could also do an outreach to the universities, because McKinsey, even though it's much younger and office in Asia compared to the US, it's still a very established name in consulting within Asia, especially up there with MBB. So I think tapping into universities to get the word out can definitely get the ball rolling for the Asian audience to get on board with this program.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wait, if no more questions, it's time to move to team 2.
Let's do it.
Okay, team 2, please welcome whoever is going to be presenting first. Please share your screens and kick it off.
Hi everyone, we are Team 2 for the Alumni Project. My name is Dia, and I'm Natalia and Montella.
Dear, it's very, very, very hard to hear you. I don't know if I'm the only one, but it's kind of really hard. Can't hear you.
Yeah, it was a muffled microphone somehow.
Is that better now?
Oh,
Yes,
much better.
100%, yes.
Okay. I'll repeat myself. So hi, we are team 2 for the Alumnus Project. My name is Dia, and we have Natalia and Moisola. So we really wanted to start our project with breaking down the real question, which what is currently the issue with the McKinsey alumni? And I guess the answer is that it simply doesn't exist. So we wanted to break it down even further and kind of talk about the primary factors which college students or interns in what's leading them away from the current job market and what are the big issues. So we kind of broke it down into 3 main steps, and we've come to the conclusion that a lot of traditional platforms like LinkedIn, Workday, Indeed, a lot of where I'm posting my job profile and so are my peers are oversaturated with applicants. 10 to 15 of LinkedIn applicants only meet the requirements for the role because a lot of people are just applying for the sake of applying for the job. And a lot of these recruiters, on the other hand, are manually searching for the keywords and buzzwords in applicants. They aren't actually getting the person who's right fit for their job because they have hundreds and hundreds of applications to go to. They can't tell who's specifically interested with the right qualifications. And like me, I'm just a freshman in college. I don't have the right experience to go into these high-level internships. A lot of people are applying because they feel like it'll help them in the long run, but they don't have the mentorship or qualifications to meet those jobs. Next slide, please. So that's where our complication comes in. We really wanted to ask the question, does college adequately teach students the skills to emotionally and mentally navigate the transition into the workforce? And how is the McKinsey Alumni Network going to help with that? So our resolution is that we wanted to create an elite network platform which benefits the McKinsey alumni, but finding them high-level interns, but also benefits the college students through offering mentoring services earlier on in their college career. With this way, our elite network is essentially a website which benefits both sides. So our supply would be our McKinsey alumni. So if you look on the left side of the screen, we have our McKinsey alumni who are essentially posting specific level internships with specific qualifications. And the really cool thing is that they're able to post a video explaining the specific jobs that they're looking for within their jobs. So for example, let's say that I'm trying to hire for Rackspace Technology. I can post a video saying, if you're excited about these forms of technology, excited about cloud and making these types of changes, I would absolutely love to talk to you.
This way, from a profile side from a student, I'm not only having that personal meet with a McKinsey alumni already earlier on before I apply, but I also have a really good idea of what the company is about when I'm going in for my application. And from the student profile, because a lot of McKinsey alumni of who we've talked to are hiring for their companies from that post-grad to senior in college, because that is just more guaranteed for post-grad jobs and commitment. So from a student profile, earlier on in my freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, I can start and I can request a coffee chat or a mentorship, which is a way to build connections with McKinsey alumni earlier on in my college career, essentially giving me the network and the platform I need to keep in touch with them so that for post-grad, I still have that connection built, and it could lead to a possibility of gaining a job from one of them.
So the matching process for our platform, we wanted to address it in 3 specific ways. First of all, we wanted to have more customizable tags for the profiles. For example, like if I am related to a McKinsey alum, or if I have a connection to a consulting company, that's it'll be easier for alumni to have control over these filters and find specific people and help them narrow their search. Additionally, alumni gets to decide who has access to their postings. If they are looking for people who have experience or have an interest in this area or are a specific major, they're able to make sure that only those people can apply, so that they don't have to be looking through like hundreds of applicants, but only the specific ones that already meet the qualifications that they want. So our market trends and value proposition. So the 3 main players in our platform would be the companies, the students, and the McKinsey alumni. Companies are looking to hire quality interns, maybe people who have guidance and mentorship from similar institutions and who understand the company. That's where our platform comes in. Students would be able to receive advice and mentorship through conversations with the McKinsey alumni, and this would also create a longer lasting network throughout the McKinsey network. McKinsey alumni also are obviously going to be a really big player in our platform. They already have high quality connections and network, and so they're also going to be attracting students and companies to the platform specifically. So for students, we talked about how each student is looking for different things based on where they are in their education. So for freshmen, they're creating their profile, maybe connecting with alumni. And we also wanted to make sure that everyone has access to the platform, since a lot of freshmen, like we said, don't have experience, maybe don't know their major or what they want to go into. So we want to make that available to as many students as possible. Sophomore year, continuing to build that mentorship connection and also shadow opportunities, so that people who don't have experience are able to at least learn and understand how things work in that industry. Juniors, internships, and also seniors are preparing more for postgraduate or future job opportunities. While we focused on college students for this presentation, we would look to expand to maybe postgraduate opportunities, business school students, and also maybe high school students further on.
So with all that in mind, we'll basically be keeping track of the proposed timeline that we have. So we know most college students typically start applying for winter internships several months before the start date. This is often in the late summer or the early fall. And then we know for summer internships, most students often begin applying as early as the fall or the winter, basically before the summer. And so with that, before we actually release our platform, we will do something called beta testing, which is where we want to get feedback from the McKinsey alumni. So the McKinsey alumni will be playing 2 roles. They will be playing the recruiter, but they will also be playing the role of the intern, just so we can test out the website first. So our main goal here is to get feedback to release an up-to-par website that the McKinsey alum and also interns can expect from us. And so we will be focused on the landing page, which is basically where each user will have a unique login and password that they've been given through a unique QR code to join the website. So as you know, we're keeping this elite status where you need a unique QR code in order to become a part of the McKinsey alumni website. And then number 2 is we'll establish an elite network chain of McKinsey alumni to post jobs. So during this beta testing stage, we're telling McKinsey alumni to start posting jobs and to kind of start putting their own like information out there. So once we do release the website, that interns can come and start pretty much filling that up and finding the interns or McKinsey alumni that they're looking for. And so the next part we have is user registration and login. Like we said, a huge factor of it is security. So we're going to have a unique McKinsey login to each individual user. We know today, like most websites have a two-step authentication, like LinkedIn and Indeed and all those other platforms where you have to put your phone number in order to get a code or something back, which is also something we'll have. But when it comes to our security code or security information, you are going to have to get a unique, question that only you know the answer to and nobody else does. So it's kind of different from other websites. And then something that we also prioritize at this time is contact form or communication channel. So a huge part of our beta testing is getting feedback on our platform so we can ensure that we're doing the best to get a very unique website out there. And at this time, some resources we will need is website development tools, just to ensure the website is responsive and that alumni are able to get around the website as freely as they want to. And also design resources. We will be prioritizing maintenance and support, like I said. So as we're getting feedback, we are enhancing the website over and over, and we'll keep testing it just to make sure it's up to par. In 2025, we will officially launch our website in early January. And so we'll be focusing on the contact form. Like I said, this is a huge part just because we need that information to keep expanding and to keep enhancing our website. At this point, we'll be tracking the search functionality. So ensuring that interns are able to connect with the right McKinsey alums and also the internship based on various keywords they put in. And so we'll be looking at their location. We'll be looking at the time that they're searching these words in. We'll be very focused on just seeing their interaction on our website. And so another thing we'll focus on is also analytics integration. So basic analytics tracking to kind of monitor website traffic, to see user interactions and other key metrics. We really do care about where they hear about our network from. We'd want to know, or are they coming from LinkedIn? Are they coming from here? Are they finding us from their college? Is it word to word? Is it mouth to mouth? Or like, where are they hearing about us from? So that's something that we're going to be very highly focused on. And then also basic search engine optimization. We're going to be very focused on making sure our website is the first thing that comes up the very moment you put our name into your search pad. We want to make sure that our website is what comes up, just in case there's other website out there trying to mimic our website. And so some resources we'll also be focused on at this time is analytic tools, integration expertise, and also the SEO tools, like we said, just to ensure our website is out there, and as we launch that we are really giving the people what they want. Next, in 2026, our main goal now will be to strengthen our relationship between McKinsey alums and also the interns. And so one thing we'll do is expanding on our match-like features. What makes our website so different from other websites like LinkedIn, Indeed, and the other ones is we kind of take on a Bumble approach where it's like almost like a dating app, but not a dating app because this is an internship that you're trying to get, but it's more like recruiters and interns are being able to match with one another. Though this feature is more for the recruiters because you are able to see an intern's page and you are able to choose whether you want to match with them based on the information that you see on their profile. So like Natalia was, like Dia was saying earlier about having virtual coffee chats and things like that. As an intern, you're able to build your profile in a way that you can stand out to an alum. And so you don't even have to pay for this. Like other websites like LinkedIn and things like that, you have to pay in order to be like verified and to really have your profile out there or to see who's been looking at your profile. But with our website, all you have to do is, keep on viewing those recruiters. I mean, the McKinsey alum, keep on viewing their videos, keep on attending those virtual coffee chats. You need to keep on going to those mentorships and interacting with McKinsey alum. And the more you're doing this, your page and website can really be put out there. So the moment a recruiter comes across your page, if they choose to match with you, you will be notified of that. And when you see that notification, most times we know interns are in the position where they're very desperate for a job. And so they're most likely not to unmatch with a recruiter, but you do have the option to unmatch with a recruiter if you want to, but most times they are most likely to accept it. And so this goes into number 2. By doing this, we'll be establishing McKinsey as more of a different platform than the other ones through this matching process that we have, where you get to be matched based on the work you put in. You don't have to pay for it. It's not monetized. So you just get to work on your profile over and over. And the more you are investing time into it, the more you'll see that basically growing by the amount of recruiters who choose to accept your profile and who choose to match with you based on how much they've seen you've put into the McKinsey alumni profile. And also this is kind of how we'll incentivize more users to stay on our platform, because we want them to keep putting the work. We want them to focus only on our website alone and to keep trying to build their website here instead of going to other platforms like LinkedIn and other things. We want them to just focus on our website alone. And then number 3, we'll begin to expand the design. So initially this website will obviously start from like a laptop, an iPad, but we want you to have an on-the-go experience where wherever you are, you can just use your phone. You know, if you're in an Uber, if you're just somewhere where you do not have time to open up your laptop, you can have the chance to basically just on the go use your phone wherever you are. And so some resources at this time is social media monitoring tools. At this time, we'll be spying heavily on our competitors to see what they're doing and how we can keep differentiating from them so we can keep establishing our platform as a very powerful platform. And we will also be using website development, which is something we'll keep on saying over and over because we want to keep on developing our website based on the feedback we are getting. And now in 2027, our main goal now will be to establish a 97% intern acceptance rate. Like Dia was saying earlier, once again, most freshmen and sophomores do not get the opportunity that they want just because a lot of recruiters are looking for seniors and postgrads, people who actually can get full-time jobs. But on our networking and on our base, we will add more features on the end of recruiters and interns just so that they can be able to get that chance to easily connect with one another. We'll also be implementing more use of AI and also through the human touch. We said we didn't only want to use AI because that just kind of takes people who might be qualified out of it, but we will use AI for customer support. So if you are on our website and you do not have time you kind of need something, but we do not have time or there's no human there to help you, you have that quick use of AI to kind of help you with whatever you're looking for or however you need to navigate the profile. So that will be something that you'll get. And so our third one is to become a major force for freshmen and sophomores to build connections early on and to be able to secure internships. We want to be one of those platforms where it's so rare for you to see a freshman and sophomore really get internships, and we want to become that platform where they are able to do that, or even if they aren't able to do that or secure that, maybe due to their incompetence, they can actually secure connections through those coffee chats, through those networking, through those communication that they're able to build with McKinsey alumni very early on. And so some resources we'll be using is like website optimization, AI implementation, like we said, customer service, and also the feedback loops that will keep helping us to develop a way better website.
And lastly, for our funding requirements and strategy, our budget, we're going to need to create a website, software development, and we're going to need an operational team. So for the website, we would use maybe a site like Drupal, for example, and hoping that it would cost around $4,000. Software development, we would need to hire a team, maybe even using McKinsey alumni to help out with that. Hopefully that would cost around $6,000. And our operational team, we would use volunteers from the McKinsey alumni network. Since this network would be, we're hoping that we could use a lot of McKinsey alumni for help, such as the mentors on this call. We know that McKinsey alumni are really willing to help, and it would be a way for them to connect and something that would draw them to our site. And so hopefully they'd be willing to help get this site put up. The total cost would be around $10,000. So our revenue, we said that if there's about 37,000 plus McKinsey alumni, if 1/10 of those alumni join, that would be around 3,700. We estimate that each alumni will attract 3 students or companies to the platform. So there would be around 11,100 users on the platform. If we use monetized ads, price them at 30 cents per view, and each advertisement is viewed by each user once, that would be $3,330 per ad that we would make. If each advertisement makes us around that much and our estimated funding is $10,000, to simply break even, we would need only 3 companies to buy an advertisement video. And it is 9,990 because it would be 3.003, but 3 companies. So, but yeah, that is it for the funding. So, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, team 2. Appreciate the presentation. So if we have any questions, please welcome those in right now.
I'm good.
Okay, any questions from the fellow students, maybe? Okay, sounds like we don't have any questions, which is totally fine. And that allows us to move into team 3. So team 2, please. I'm not sure who is sharing. Okay, team looks like team 3 is sharing. Yes, let's kick it off, team 3. Please welcome in.
All right, thank you so much. Well, before anything, you guys can hear me, right? Okay, just to get that out of the way. Okay, okay, I think everyone can hear me. Coolios. I'm just gonna put up my slides. All right, cool. Hello, everyone. Super excited to walk you guys through our solution today. We're a team 3. We consist of Tiffany, Sebastian, David, and me, Kevin. The foundation that we'll be supporting will be Scholarship for America, which is an organization that supports underprivileged students in awarding them scholarship and getting them to college. And I'll be walking through our agenda today. First, we'll start with with some of the problems we have previously with the McKinsey Alumni connection, and then we'll be covering solution. Next, we'll be showing our mocked up, our app, and then we'll be talking about the value proposition for each party, and then we'll also be talking about the short run of the app, the long run of the app, and then we'll be covering the operation, the mechanism of the app, and then lastly, finance, and then if anyone have any questions, we'll be happy to cover them. Now I'll pass the stage to David.
Hello, everyone. So before we actually started creating our product, we sat down and really looked for problems we faced as students within the traditional internship market, and actually identified quite a few inefficiencies within this market. So for one, traditional recruiting platforms such as LinkedIn, Handshake, Indeed, and even direct application to firms is far oversaturated. And what I mean by this is there are far too many users, too much competition, too many companies, too many job postings, and so much so that it is even rare nowadays to just get a response in the first place. And we believe the root of this problem to be that the job demand growth is outpacing that of the supply of jobs growth. And yeah, as far as our second problem we identified, it stems from the first, is unattainable acceptance rates. So for big firms like McKinsey, it is not uncommon to see acceptance rates dip to merely 1%. And statistically, applying to these firms are more than unlikely, which leaves 99% of a large application pool of bright young minds kind of lost in an internship market. And as a result, there's also a third problem we identified, which is finding a respectable and beneficial internship within subsequent level firms. So in other words, once you are rejected from the McKinseys of the world, where do you look next? And this search is oftentimes difficult and quite risky for students for multiple reasons. For one, there is limited information about these firms. And two, there's no way of determining the respectability or legitimacy of an internship before working at said firm. The next problem we identified was unfacilitated networking. So we did conclude that LinkedIn does do a great job of conducting and creating your network, but it comes up short when it comes to the actual networking process. We think this shortcoming stems from inefficiencies within what we thought of as the golden rule of networking, which is kind of the idea that if you do something for me now, I may repay you back sometime in the future. And this sentiment, we believe, does not really foster networking to its full potential, as there is no immediate trade-off between parties. And also, at times, networking can be quite awkward without the right framing, especially when you're trying to work through a family friend. It's sometimes awkward when it's unfacilitated. And the last problem we identified was inefficiencies within the underclassmen internship search. As we all know, experience is key when it comes to applying to firms, and now more than ever, we see competition for roles at an all-time high. So experience is even more important, and it also poses kind of a predicament for firms, which is whether to demand immediate experience from upperclassmen or whether to supply experience to underclassmen to ensure that for the future there are experienced upperclassmen. And yes, as a result of these problems, we propose a solution. Meet the Alumnist, a premium invite-only recruiting network that facilitates superior internship search through the McKinsey Alumni Network. The basic structure of our network is fairly simple, but highly effective in combating the problems we just identified within the internship search market. For one, to desaturate the internship market, we propose a platform where only McKinsey alumni can post internship opportunities for their respective companies, and a platform where only referred students have access to these internship offerings. In addition to desaturating the market, this format acts as a screening tool for subsequent level internship opportunities. Beforehand, students will be able to confirm the respectability of an internship because it is run through a McKinsey alumni. Another function of this network is acceptance rate control. So the basic function of our solution is for every one job posting an alumni posts, said alumni is allowed 5 student referrals, 2 of which can be personal, whether that's a family member or a friend, and the following 3 are dedicated to program referrals. So any student within a special program is allotted access to it when someone posts a job. And due to our 1-to-5 ratio on average across the platform, all job postings will have an acceptance rate that is floating around 25%, which is 1, an attainable number, and 2, also a respectable number. And on top of that, as opposed to LinkedIn, our platform will maintain equivalent growth on the demand and supply side of jobs. And as far as our, oh, sorry, this is, I'll pass it over to Tiffany now.
Yeah, so bringing that all together, we created a platform mockup where you're able to see what we really want to implement. So essentially, you're able to connect with people from your home screen, directly message them within your network and ensure that you're staying connected with them. You're also able to search throughout your network, filter results to find the proper opportunities that you want. And then also the main GUI would be the posted opportunities that are from current MCK employees and alumni that are willing to help and are finding these opportunities for students to take part of. And you're also able to save and share any posts that catch your eye to ensure that like you're able to take part in any opportunity that like you're interested in. There's also a search bar at the bottom, or like a task bar at the bottom, where you're able to not only go into home screen, but also there's this handshake feature where you're able to connect with mutuals throughout the network. So that means that if you're trying to find people within the network that have similar career goals as you, you can search through that to find any mutuals that are generally interested in that as well, or even those that are like already working in that field. And then you're also able to post any opportunities that you have found that have come up. So for example, you know how like Lauren is posting that. You're also able to make posts for other students and also refer other people into that network. And then lastly, there's also a messaging feature where you're able to start a conversation with someone if you do see a job posting that you find interesting. And that just ensures that we're staying connected, that there's a strong, tight-knit community. And bringing that all together, we wanted to ensure the proper implementation of this program would focus on the McKinsey alumni, the students, and the companies. For the McKinsey alumni, we wanted to ensure that this program produces future leaders into the firm and firm's high quality connections with the students. And that means that they're connected no matter where they are in the world. And that is through this app where you're able to connect wherever you are in life, anything like that. For McKinsey alumni, we love the idea that they're willing to invest in their students. And that means that they're able to create direct mentorship with the students that are interested or have some type of connection into McKinsey already. So they're specifically matched in with mentors within the company, and they're able to build out their career path and network using the filtering feature. That ensures that each student stays connected with the alumni and continues to grow in that network. Additionally, there's also companies that we're trying to make sure that are invested into this program continue to benefit. That is including McKinsey, but we are looking into other companies. This program ensures that there's a high quality connection and students that are not only set to go into their career field, but are prepared for roles in McKinsey as well as other exclusive firms, knowing that there's like a network willing to support them throughout their career. And using this process, we're using this to create a self-sustaining feedback loop in the network, which continues to grow the program and outreach to people not only nationally, but globally.
So as far as our plan for implementation, we segmented both between short-term and long-term solutions. So as far as our short-run solution, we identified the main problem to address our supply and demand dynamics. So to address the supply of jobs, the question we must answer is why would an alumni want to join our platform? And we determined the main drivers of supply to be, one, the cost reduction for subsequent level firms to find McKinsey level talent, and the desire to find a family member or a friend in internship. So for smaller size firms with a smaller hiring budget, our platform is really a great way to cut those costs. McKinsey and all these large firms are given huge budgets to find high caliber talent, and our app would allow the 99% of students that aren't accepted to these firms the ability to match with a respectable firm. And as far as our demand, the question to be asked is, why will students join our network? And it's quite simple. For one, there are lower acceptance rates. Students will go wherever they have the best opportunity to get a great internship. And two, the students that would join our network could have the ability to get endorsed by an alumni. So when after completing an internship with a McKinsey alumni, the said alumni can endorse the student. So for in future years, when applying to firms such as McKinsey, they could be targeted in the system as this is a great candidate, and not only is this a great candidate, this is a great candidate that is endorsed by a McKinsey alumni. And as far as our timeline for the short term, the first year really would be dedicated to actually building the application, and two would be fostering enough funds and attention from the McKinsey Alumni Network, which could be done through case competitions such as this. And yeah.
Yeah, thank you, David. Now I'll be covering the long-term vision and strategy for the app. So now we have spent the first 2 years to really build and consolidate the basic function of the app. And for the third year, what we want to do is to expand it. First is the pool of students within the app. And now we'll be able to do this by collaborating with scholarship program and specific university. And we can do that through an application process to ensure that the students that are getting in are a high achieving student. Now, the second thing that we want to expand is the technology side. And our team has been thinking about some social media functionality we can implement in. For example, like a space where students can post questions and then their peers can come in and answer those questions, as well as McKinsey Alumni. And we also plan to implement what's called an incubation system, which I will talk about more later on. For year 4, we will continue to seek more membership growth, as well as the implementation of chapters and forum, where we essentially group together people who share the same area of interest and in the same field of work, so that we can facilitate more more impactful networking. For year 5, because we have spent the last 4 years to really build and to really make sure that we have a high quality connection in students within our app. So I think for the 5th year onwards, we can now start pitching this to companies outside of the network and say, okay, you guys can come in, you guys can have access to this pool of students. Now, talking more about the metrics, here's are some of the quantitative metrics that we can use to measure the successfulness of the app. Firstly is the amount of people that are within the app. We imagine the ratio of one McKinsey alumni will be equal to 5 students. So that's somewhere there. A second metrics we can use is the successful match of internship and jobs, because again, this is one of the root reason why this network got started out anyway. So that will be a very useful metrics to measure whether this network is on track to achieving that. Third metrics is going to be chapter, and we believe that this will really reflect whether the network really have deep interaction with each other or not, because essentially that's what form chapters and forum. And fourth is partnership, and we know that the McKinsey network really seek to expand beyond itself. So things we can look for in the future is, for example, collaborating with Fortune 500 companies, prestigious organizations. So this could be a metrics we can use to measure that. Now, talking more about the mechanism of the app, first we have a matchmaking process to ensure that the right student are being paired with the right mentors. And on top of that, we also have a feedback system, which ensure that the community really improve and grows together over the year. And this is a reciprocal feedback process where both parties will get feedback. And we also have a phase where there will be data reflection on their profile. So for example, if the students perform really well in their internship, there will be a reflection of that. And this is so that there will be some sort of accountability overall, and it will increase the commitment of both the alumni and the students to the network. Now, the third mechanism I want to talk about is an incubation system, which I've previously mentioned. Now, essentially, we know that the conventional college path, there's 4 years. And what we want to do is to make for each year, students will be eligible to an amount of materials that we provide for them. Now, this will do two things. Firstly, it will ensure that we're providing the right opportunity to the right student. And secondly, we also ensure that there's some sort of commitment for students to this network, because this is not only a one-time thing, it's a whole journey where they get nurtured and they get sharpened and they can absorb really the McKinsey caliber. So it's just not in and out, but it's a long-term thing. Now I'm going to pass it back to Sebastian, who'll be talking about our finance aspect.
Yep. So when it comes to funding for the initial platform, which would be a website or app, and depending on funding, we could either switch to purely a website or just an app. But they would both kind of facilitate each other, of course. We would likely use WordPress for the website for kind of its online form development, and for the app we would likely outsource to Melitech in Vietnam, or kind of other companies that are offshore, because it's cheaper. And for the operational team, they would be volunteers to kind of get the starting fund. There would be both crowdfunding and investment from the companies of McKinsey alumni to kind of get this get the project off the ground. And then for a revenue stream, there would be membership prices and yearly subscriptions, as well as brokerage fees. For the company, there would be $10,000 of fees, as well as an annual due of $3,500. And there would also be annual dues paid by the alumni and students using the platform. And this would allow definitely add to the sense of exclusivity, as well as kind of guaranteeing a stronger pool of applicants and alumni, so that companies and alumni can select from a very strong pool. There would also be a brokerage fee for companies that matching with different students, and this would be the primary revenue stream.
That will be it from Team 3. Thank you so much for listening, and we would love to welcome any questions.
Thank you so much, Team 3. Appreciate the presentation. So let's see if we have any questions for your presentation. Wade, do you want to say a word?
Yeah, no, I think it's better to let them flow.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds like a plan. All right, so then let's welcome Team 4 to the stage, and whoever is sharing the presentation for Team 4, please feel free to do so.
Yep, I'm working on it. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, Carolyn. Yes. Mhm.
Okay, let me see if I can have this be less of a mess a little bit. Does anyone know how to, oh, I got it.
Time.
Just want to get it to present so it looks a little cleaner. Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening for me, depending on, or I guess good middle of the night. We heard someone was in Singapore, so we apologize for that and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Caroline Palachek. Today I'm joined by my colleagues Michael Buana and Ronan Park, and we're presenting our version of the solution for the strategy sprint. The contents of our presentation are broken down into 4 parts. Number 1 is our assessment of the problem and the various components and stakeholders and such. Second is our end goal, what we see as the ultimate vision for the alumnus network. Third, we're going to give you our MVP or our minimum value product to get done what you guys express that you wanted to get done in order to be ready for the 2024-2025 internship season. And then next steps, kind of how we envision what is happening with the alumnus moving forward. The current state of the alumnus is, not the alumnus, of the internship market is quite messy, right? So individual interns need to reach, people looking for internships need to reach out on platforms such as LinkedIn, Handshake, Indeed. They're reaching out through people that they know. They're trying to get, recommendations from friends to jobs, and it's a really stressful process, especially for freshmen and sophomores, which some of the other teams have mentioned previously, because what they're looking for in an internship is perhaps a little bit different. And we're looking at, say, a freshman who's willing to take maybe a 3-week position to just solve one problem at a company for no pay, just so that they can build up their resume in order to work towards their career path of choice. Our vision for, I'm just kidding. Our vision for the network going forward would be something that looks a little bit more like this. You're connected, it's direct, it's an accessible network of alumni, connecting with screened interns with companies, and finding interns who satisfy the criteria for companies. But I think it's really important to point out that the people who have the power in this system are the people offering the jobs. The interns don't really have that much pull. We're not really offering much, if we're being honest. Like, you're coming out of college, you don't know that much. You don't have a lot of hard skills that you can offer to these companies, especially companies at a very high level. So it's important to recognize that we're asking something of the people, of the network. We're asking, hey, is it possible for you to give me a chance to prove myself? And we outlined 2 ways to maybe do that. Our answer to performalizing the network, big picture, would be a fully mature website or app with a matching feature. That's what would set it apart from the minimum value project that we're going to propose. With a faceted search to allow people to pick which companies or internships fit with their image or idea of what they need, depending on what they're looking for, without having to scroll through and just match. If they know they're looking for someone specific, they can search it. For our immediate solution, we're proposing a formalized network. Software light, faceted search, pretty immediate, very short term. We're trying to keep it simple. To be a little bit blunt, we're trying to kiss, we're trying to keep it simple, stupid, to be able to deliver a product that is going to get you what you want on your timeline, but with very low cost, but also is still formalizing the network that we have access to. It could look like this. It could look like, it's the fully mature app, and also the MVP would look similar in profile, right? The only difference essentially is that the MVP is not going to have matching capabilities, because the software that is going to allow us to do that is going to take longer to develop, for one. It's going to be more expensive. And it's, at this point, quite frankly, a little bit unnecessary. All we're trying to do in this first step is to formalize the network. So I think it's important to note that we can have, what's going to set our platform apart from other platforms is that the companies are going to specify what competencies you're going to gain from the job, taking the job position. And in the MVP, the minimum value product, the way it's going to work is there's going to be a survey that ideally gets sent out through either a mass email to the alumni network. The very first pool of people who could join is the people participating in this project. I mean, it's 30 people already. That's a good base. I think it's also important to note that in the MVP product that we're proposing, there won't be a chat feature involved. I think that involves way more software than we're willing to do for short term, right? Because some of the internships for the 2024-2025 season are going to be internships that people are choosing in June. So that's, 2 months away, less than that. So instead of the matching feature, we're just having recommendations for young adults to be allowed to access this platform, and then they have to reach out to the companies using the contact listed on their profile. And I'm going to pass it off to Ronan to give us a little bit more of an idea of what kind of network we have access to.
Yes. So as Caroline mentioned, again, the initial network that we could pull from is the very people on this call, the alumnus project. I think there's a lot of capable and clearly very willing people on this call that would be, that could sort of serve as the base for this alumnus network. Additionally, we also have a huge network just at our fingertips via Wade. Wade's first degree connections, which we've estimated to be around 2,000-ish. I guess hopefully, Wade, you enjoy us gassing you up a little bit. But yeah, just around
10,700.
All right, 2,700 is already a very large pool. But if we expand that to a second degree, we're talking about hundreds of thousands, and a third degree, millions of potential people to sort of serve as the foundation or the base for the alumnus network. And then additionally, once we establish this sort of initial pool of connections, it will continue to proliferate and expand naturally as these people, invite their own connections and their own, expand to their own network. So in essence, we have a very large pool of people of which to incorporate into our network. I can go to the next slide. So based on some of our pretty simple research, we estimate that approximately 1 out of 10 people of the average age of, that we're talking about have college-age children. And of these, around 2 out of 10 will participate. So while this may seem like a pretty small percentage, just only 2%, when we're talking about a pool as large as we have access to, that's still hundreds of thousands of people. So essentially, given this network that we are establishing as quite large, we would need someone to quote unquote, farm Wade's connections, reaching out via LinkedIn, sending emails, and inviting them to the network. This could be an intern, this could be a pre-existing employee of Wade's. It wouldn't be that demanding a task, but essentially they would need to go out and establish a sort of base pool from which we can build our network. This intern or whoever this person is would also be in charge of profile management and sort of maintenance of an active network. If someone isn't active on the network, as in they're not applying for internships or they're not supplying internships, this person could flag the account as, to kind of serve as a warning. But also if someone is applying for internships that they are not qualified for and wasting people's time, this person would flag the account as well, because in essence, this person is sort of streamlining and making the entire alumnus network as efficient and as active as possible. Okay, on to the next slide. So on one hand, while it is very beneficial to all the stakeholders to have the network be as expansive and as large as possible, exclusivity is also a really important component, because we want to maintain the sort of validity of of an alumni merit. We don't want this network to be open to the general public. We want that there's sort of be that pre-screened element that Caroline touched on a little bit, where it's if a company is hiring an intern, we know that there's a certain level of competency that they're bringing to the table. So because of this, we believe that limiting a number of referrals per person would be the best way to combat this problem. if Michael will touch on this a little bit later in the MVP as well, but if we cap the referrals per person to say 5 or 10, that would ensure that we're maintaining the alumni nature of this network. But also it would lead to a certain level of merit, because each person would be incentivized to give out their passes to the 5 most competent people they believe, or they wouldn't be handing out these passes to everyone in their network. They'd be handing it out to the most prestigious and the most qualified individuals that they believe.
Great, thank you, Ronan. And to reiterate, we are already in the 2024 to 2025 internship season. As it stands, people are already getting to internships, making immediacy key to our solution. As such, our MVP is simple. It's a web application solely focused on centralizing open internships and prospective applicants. And as to the foundation for future development, the key here is relying on embedded external services instead of doing everything in-house to ensure that we have low costs across the board. So, how exactly does the application work? On the front end, new network members will be required to complete a survey, allowing us to know exactly what they want from the program. Be they an applicant or a provider, that initial survey is key to our operations so that we can know exactly what they need and exactly what they want. As an example survey provider, we see Qualtrics here as a great person. It's notable for how its API is easy to use and also how it can integratedly categorize based on the aforementioned limiting. Otherwise, we do suggest that the backend of the web application is run on a combination of Heroku or Django. At least, it should be something similar, should they not be those. This is because Heroku, as a platform as a service software provider, allows us to save on hosting costs, and Django, as a full-stack web framework, allows us to go from concept to release as quickly as possible. As for what applicants and employers will be presented with, this is an example of what applicants will see when joining our network. Specifically, on the slide, as I've attached, is a preview of the initial opening page for the survey. And as part of that survey, applicants will be asked for what grade they are, the university they go to, the major they're studying, key classes, the industry they prefer to work in, what skills they have, and the specific qualities of the job they might want. And what's notable here is that this is where the network connections comes into key. This is where we have the first degree of separation from the general public and the members of the network. On the other hand, employers will also have to go through an onboarding process, focused on detailing the roles they are hiring for. Some of the questions will be similar. For example, the fact that both employers and applicants have to define whether or not the opportunities they want are for full-time, part-time, paid, and unpaid. But otherwise, we do have things such as duration, as for is it in the summer, is it in the fall, location, is it in New York City, is it in California, is it remote, is it in person? And notably, what makes us different is that as part of these listings, what's key is that they denote what skills one person can gain as doing for the internship. Note that both employers and applicants can search based on the qualifications they have and the qualifications they want. Now, understandably, beyond initial operations, we have to maintain a sense of quality and stability. As such, we've conceptualized 3 watchdogs. The first watchdog would be that of referral limits. Specifically, through Qualtrics, as I've mentioned, it's automatable that the first 5 applicants using a specific referrer's name will be allowed into the platform network. That being said, given a 6th, 7th, 8th, or n applicant, if that name has been used more than 5 times, they'll receive an error message telling them, oh, this name has been used too much, you need a different referral. If they bypass that as one of the first 5 people, we then have our second watchdog, which is profile canceling. For the purposes of the MVP, this will be done by the development team, where they will glance through profiles and notice if there's anything suspicious. In the long term, we do hope that this will be done by an automated large language model, so as to be of higher quality and more efficiency. That being said, should those 2 first watchdogs fail, we do have a third watchdog, which is a comprehensive member reporting system that will allow employers to know, this person says they're a master of all trades, but they don't have any project experience to back it up. Following, what the employer might do is specifically report that person for further analysis by the development team. In terms of next steps, following from the MVP, one thing that we will be doing is market research. That is, looking into how we can scale and how we can adapt our systems to an increased number of members. Specifically, we have visualized that given increased growth and outside joining, a big part of what we'll have to do is go from simply referrals, as in inserting an alumni's name, to full-on recommendations, where a couple sentences might have to be written as to the specific member applicant's proficiencies. Beyond that, then we'll have community outreach, that is, going beyond the alumni alone and going to prestigious nonprofit organizations, such as the RISE network, in terms of Alumni students who may not have parents or other relatives who are in the network as it stands, but are of high talent and having been vetted by others who they might have networked in the past. Otherwise, we do have technical research, which is specifically visualizing whether or not a system such as this for this project needs to have a mobile application such as what you have on your phone. And as part of that, there's also research, whether or not it's worth the cost, funding models as to how we might afford such a program, and otherwise. Most importantly, however, is the automated matching coding. In the long term, as part of our overall dream project, what's important here is that we have automated recommendations. That is, where applicants and employers can both be directly recommended the persons that are applicable to what they're applying to. And notably, as it stands as part of the MVP, it's integral that people can search for specific opportunities based on their skills. That being said, the future goal is to have that be all automated so that the process is as simple and easy as possible.
Thank you, Michael. In conclusion, some of the main big picture ideas that we want you to take away today is that this is going to succeed based on the people who are offering the internships. The suppliers have the power. The people who are inclined to give internships mostly are the parents of people who are college age children. So in order to kind of engage them, we can send out emails, we can go through Wade's network, and perhaps the first person for the first job that you've created through this internship platform is the intern that's going to reach out to these people. And then we can do this fancy app where you're swiping and it's got kind of the software and programs based off of maybe a dating app that you're swiping and matching. And this is where you put your recommendations, the person you've been recommended by, and this is your perfect fit internship. But I think that's maybe not what you're asking for here. We thought that you guys really wanted something that was going to just formalize the network and allow you to create internship opportunities in a formalized way, so you don't have to reach out to your uncle's brother or sister via email, or when you don't even know that she'll offer you an internship. So this way, there are people who are offering internships, you know that they're offering them, so you can reach out directly in order to further your career in the best way. Thank you so much for your attention, and we'll now take any questions.
Thank you so much, Team 4. Great job. Wade, any questions, or should we keep it flowing? Okay, guys, I think we will keep it flowing and allow Team 5 to the stage now. Welcome in, please.
Hi, so first of all, Sophia is setting up. I just wanted to introduce the team. My name is Aja. I'm joined by Colin, Mari, Varad, and Sophia. And hopefully we can support St. Jude's today. All right. Imagine a world where the matchmaking process for internships is seamless, fast, and accurate, while giving employers an incredible pool of applicants and college students the best opportunities possible. The team here is very excited to present our vision and how we see this happening with the alumnus, a McKinsey network.
So the challenge we were given today was to develop a formal internship exchange for college students connected to the McKinsey Alumni Network and to add structure to informal networking through family connections. So here's how we plan to do this.
Now, cutting down the application costs of finding and receiving internships by 50%, but increasing the application process pool by over 100% may seem fantastical or out of reach, but we have found solutions to solve this problem. First, we wanted to create a digital job platform, which is a centralized website for interns to find opportunities they are most interested in, while being able to find networks to mentor with and help their careers, while also allowing companies to find a singular place to host these interns that they may be seeking. And instead of previously over multiple emails, different job websites, and informal networks, which honestly takes too much time. Second, we thought that to actually find and receive these internships and evaluate them, we can host case competitions and hackathons by the companies, where interns are able to have real world practical experience while companies can get a fresh set of eyes on problems that they may currently be facing. And we wanted to leverage AI for the matchmaking process, where previously you may have to hire a hiring manager and it may take way too long to view all these applicants, but through our algorithm, we are able to cut down this process heavily and provide the best possible pool of applicants for these internships.
Now, in terms of our implementation plan, we want to be trying to gauge interest through contacting network members while we're working on developing our platform. This ensures that we're able to scale our platform to the correct size from the beginning based on the feedback that we get when trying to contact these network members. We're also going to be working on continually increasing functionality year over year. This way we keep up to par with what the market demands of us. And we're also going to be making cyclical improvements that line up with the cycles for college and university student recruitments.
Finally, we're going to move on to talk about the financial feasibility of the alumnus, and we're going to get into some of the estimates that we made, which are on the screen now. $18,500 was our estimate for an upfront cost, and then we estimated some of the revenue streams that are going to, increase over time as we increase traffic on the website. And we're also going to talk about some other strategies that we're going to implement in the future to increase revenue.
Now, in terms of what we want to get out of this, we aim to add structure to the system when interns find their internships. For example, I got this opportunity by talking to an uncle who used to work here. Not all students have such personal connections. Now, by using digital tools like the AI, we hope that it will lead to a more formalized approach to get internships.
Now, moving on to the problem identification, when looking at the perspective of students looking for internships, we've identified three main problems. The first main problem is not having a clear forward path. So students might not be knowledgeable in the steps to take when making connections or looking for an internship. And this becomes especially exacerbated when hearing all these buzzwords when you're looking for an internship, like cold emailing, coffee chatting, networking, technicals, interview prep. It can be really overwhelming for students, and they might not know the next step that they have to take. Through our platform, we're trying to inform students and keep them better informed about the hiring process so that they have more concrete steps to take in the future. The second main issue that we've identified is there being a lack of formality, especially with the aforementioned networking, coffee chats, cold emailing, etc. So connecting solely through email that is not connected to the company can make information disorganized, especially when you're connecting to some people through emailing, some people through LinkedIn, some people when actually talking in person. You might forget who you've spoken to, you might lose an email chain. It can all become really disorganized. So with our platform, we're trying to centralize that process a lot more and make it a lot more formal and easier to access for students. The final problem that we've identified is there being a lack of information about the hiring process. This is especially the case when there's so many firms that students have to try to keep track of, each of them that have a different process, different technicals, different interview process. There's just so much to keep track of, and it can be a lot for students, especially when they don't know maybe what they want to do or where they want to work. Again, we're trying to centralize this information and have just a clear central platform with all this information about hiring processes, which will make it easier for students looking for internships.
Here are some of the goals we want to achieve in the future. So we have to look at two main stakeholders for this platform, which are the interns and the alumni. So we want to connect alumni and students for these internships. Now, to delve into more specific goals, we want to make it convenient and intuitive for interns to get internships. And we want to give alumni a more efficient and easy way to post an internship online, because today there's no convenient approach to that. And we want to add some structure behind the students finding internship process by enabling them to connect with professional and industry bodies. And we want to give interns a chance to work with experienced workers in their field by giving them access to professional clubs and companies. Now, using the hackathons and case competitions, we want companies to look at a talented group of students that can later on their skill set could be improved by leveraging the comps and hackathons. Finally, the platform will be open to all students, regardless of knowing a specific alumni or not. We want to increase inclusivity to eventually scale the platform to be open to all students.
So our team is proposing the creation of an online platform that will act as a formal internship exchange where college students can search and browse different internships. We aim to cater specifically to students in established networks at first. So, for example, we want to focus on college students with ties to McKinsey alumni. But as time goes on, we aim to expand our reach to more students and mentors in different firms, educational institutions, and nonprofit organizations as well. Basically, what our platform will do is it will help centralize networking with employees and recruiters. It will allow students to filter by company and industry and allow them to gain access to mentors. We believe that this platform is the best solution as it solves the main problems most students who look for internships face. So number one, it formalizes networking processes. This solves the problem of disorganized communication channels between different companies and established networks. Number two, it quickly informs students about hiring processes at different companies and different industries. And lastly, it provides actionable steps in an internship search. And this is particularly important as it creates a clear forward path for students who lack awareness of the necessary steps for networking or for securing an internship opportunity.
And after the digital job platforms, companies can see the abilities of intern applicants in real time through these case competitions. While through these case competitions, the applicants are able to give real world industry experience on specific problems that companies may be facing. This helps make students more employable as they're already receiving some form of an onboarding process through the initial application process. Additionally, it will allow students to engage with specific companies by being able to seek mentors through these hackathons and being able to network with specific employees at this company. Additionally, this will also help companies solve real-world issues that they are facing while being able to get a fresh set of eyes, multiple perspectives that they may have not thought of initially, while also being able to get that internship pool and evaluate them on a real-world hands-on experience. We believe that this will provide an alternate method to finding talent, and companies can even host these hackathons virtually at their own discretion to attract an international applicant pool without barriers.
And we also plan to leverage AI to match students with the right mentors and internship opportunities. We want to use AI to scan and analyze information taken from student uploaded resumes and use them to curate a personalized feed of internship and mentor recommendations. So based on things like a student's interest or level of experience. And by comparing the information on the resume to information listed on different internship requirements, our platform will then provide a matching score depending on the number of similar keywords present to indicate student fit. And basically, this will really help eliminate hours of manually searching for mentors and internships on the platform. And because students are able to see a curated feed of opportunities they are interested in, they're also more likely to apply. And last but not least, McKinsey alumni who have posted these opportunities can also use the matching score to quickly cut down a list of applicants with the best fit to quickly move on to the interview stage.
We saw to get the best engagement with this program, we identified 5 different ways to help reach our goal. First, we decided that we needed to identify existing internships. And we thought the best way to do this is through an alumni network outreach, where through potentially the McKinsey or other networks, we can find the best internships for interns to apply to and companies who may be seeking junior level interns to help bring on for the next year. Additionally, we could partner with specific companies to help aid with that goal as well. Next, we wanted to identify potential mentors. And using the same alumni network and partnerships with companies, we will be able to find people who want to help the next generation succeed and help them in their individual careers taking off. Next, to engage prospective interns, we believe that with the younger generation, social media is the best way to attract them, as this will help them find internships that they may be more excited about in their own personal day-to-day lives. Additionally, through partnering with professional clubs at specific colleges and top institutions at the discretion of companies, we can attract a pool of applicants who have already gone through an application process, first to get into that specific school, and then to reach into these professional clubs, thereby guaranteeing the best possible application pool, both for the interns and for the companies, to help them make the best decision possible. Next, we wanted to engage relatives or prospective interns to help bring in maybe their children or cousins that they want to see succeed in this industry. And we decided that personal outreach through traditional media may be the best way, and alumni network outreach through McKinsey, for example, or otherwise can help reach people who may have opportunities for people in their own lives. And additionally, by partnering with companies, we can achieve the same goal. Next, we wanted to engage other supporters who may not be directly involved with this program, but who want to help the alumnus. Through engaging with social media, we'll be able to have the best coverage possible and making sure we are engaging as many people with as variety in industries as possible. And while engaging with the alumni networks and by partnering with different companies and professional clubs, we will be able to get the word out as quickly and as diversely as possible.
So moving on to our implementation plan, we're going to be starting with our platform development in May. And at the same time, we're going to be concurrently trying to contact alumni again, so we can scale our platform to the correct size based on the feedback that we get from alumni. And we're aiming to have our platform launch July 1st, 2024. There's kind of a peak recruiting cycle during the summer. So between July and August, this is when a lot of recruiting and a lot of internship applications start for a lot of really competitive high finance and high consulting positions for the next summer. And then additionally, a lot of students have a lot more time over summer break because they're not in school, they're not working. So they have more time to be looking for their internships for the next summer. As such, we have to be prepared for higher traffic during this time. And then also for higher traffic during December through maybe February, when students will also have a winter break. And this is also when recruiting happens for maybe some of the less competitive positions, when recruiting happens for that next summer. We're also be working on getting feedback surveys out towards the end of these periods, just so we can see what went right and what went wrong during these periods, and then what we can improve on for the next cycle. And then with that, we're going to be creating updates to the platform as a result of these feedback surveys. Now, we've only projected this implementation plan for the first year because you might notice there's a bit of a cyclical nature to how this plan tends to operate, in that there's the high recruiting period followed by feedback surveys, and then updates to the platform during more of the off season when there's less website traffic because students are not as interested in looking for internship recruitment during those times. However, we have a bit more of a detailed forward-looking plan. So we want to be continuing with the cyclical nature of operations, and that we're continuing to adjust functionality as needed depending on our place in the university student recruitment cycle. However, in the future, we'd also like to increase off-cycle platform functionality. So this is for students who might be looking for internships during the off-season. So I know especially in Canada, a lot of universities are accredited co-op programs. So there are going to be students looking for work terms during the fall and winter semesters. We want to try to increase functionality during these off-seasons so that these students also have the opportunity to leverage the platform in the same way as students looking for summer positions. Finally, in the future, as we begin to have more success with this program, we want to implement a section of the website where students can talk to past students who have used this website and found success through it. Not only will this be helpful for students who are looking for advice on their internship path, but they might also be a lot more helpful because these students will have gone through the recruitment process a lot more recently than maybe other alumni that they'll be able to network with. And then also, it's possible that these students will be more involved in the recruitment of interns, so it can be really helpful for students to network with these successful past students.
All right, let's talk about the financial feasibility of our model. So like Sophia just said, we have a 2-month build-up period for the program where we're actually developing this website and making the AI matchmaking process, and that's going to happen in May and June. And there are lots of initial costs associated with that: building the website, building the AI, advertising, and beyond that, afterwards, in the years to come, there are lots of maintained costs, the personnel that are going to operate it, the outreach to continue contacting new alumni, and we're going to continue advertising, getting the word out, making sure new people know about the alumnus, as well as the costs associated with making sure we appear in search engine searches. And there are also several potential revenue streams, for the alumnus. We sort of base this on the business model of LinkedIn and Indeed, who they operate based on a lot of pay-per-click postings for advertising, jobs. And for us, our case, because we're posting contests and case competitions and hackathons, companies can maybe pay based on the number of clicks that they get to have them appear further up, similar to jobs and advertising. We can also sell customer data. And for certain case competitions that maybe have entrance fees, we could have a little charge on top of it. And we also discussed the idea of maybe having a premium subscription in the future. Now, in terms of the estimates for each sector, it's going to be very, very dependent on scalability. So how many people are going to be accessing this website. That has to do with revenue entirely. And then the costs, especially the maintain costs, that really has to do with how many personnel we really want to employ to make sure this thing keeps running smoothly. So we have some estimates, to $2,500 to outsource the professionally built website, get that done. And once it's completed, the cost of maintaining it is much lower. We set aside a $15,000 AI budget. And again, as this gets more advanced, that cost could go way up. Maybe we will want to spend another $30,000 next year to make it even better. And we set aside another $1,000 for advertising. And of course, this all happens over the course of the 2-month development period. That would total at around $18,500 for the costs. And then maintain costs in years to come. We just set aside an estimate of $150,000. Again, that may increase, we're not sure. And then, like I said, revenue totally depends on scalability, but we have an estimate here where assuming these certain statistics, so like 1,000 website visitors per day and 5% of them click on a given ad or job posting, then that is at least $36,500 per year. But again, this will increase over time.
So in order to see how we measure the success of the platform, we have come up with the 4 main measures: number of potential interns, cost, conversion, and placement. So we want to double the intern pool, and it can be done by linking this network to various social media channels like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and digital job platforms like LinkedIn and Indeed, allowing a larger number of interns to have access to these internships. Now, for cost, in order to reduce the cost and time, we can leverage the AI because it reduces the number of interviews and number of resumes to filter and increases the intern's likelihood of applying due to fast results, saving time, and in turn, saving money. Now, for conversion, we want to ensure that the percentage of interns getting placement. We want to ensure that the percentage of interns getting accepted increases. The platform will utilize case competitions, hackathons to develop the intern skill set, making them more employable. Now, finally, conversion, we want the interns to later on get employed full time. We can use the tools. But
I think you can go ahead. Sorry.
by using tools in the alumni network, like the alumni connections and the mentors, the chances that the interns get employed full time go up because they have a more developed skill set.
Thank you so much for giving us your time. We are very excited to bring this idea to you, and we can tell you are as well, especially about the hackathon paired with the IA. We are happy to receive any questions.
Okay, thank you so much, Team 5. Appreciate the presentation. And now I would ask Stella to take a word. Stella, you there?
Yeah.
Okay,
Hello.
cool. So if you can
Yeah.
unshare the screen, that would be amazing. So Stella can share.
Yeah, thank you to all the teams. And we really appreciate you spending so much time and effort into researching and crafting this platform. Really appreciate all of your hard work. And this is really amazing and impressive. And we do have a little bit of time left. So we wanted to take a moment for the teams to share a little bit about their charity choice, why they picked that particular charity to support. So I'll put that on the screen and we can start with someone from Team 1, if that's okay. Yeah. So here are all the charity choice. Is there anyone from Team 1 who wants to share?
Yeah, sorry, I was speaking with my microphone off. You would have thought that after COVID, I would have learned that one. Yeah, so this is Andrew. Thanks to all the teams for presenting. I thought it was great. For our part, we understood that there's a charity that's focused on education and reading for people around the world. It's just non-denominational, and it seems to be a critical skill that can really help people in line with what we're trying to do here. It's just skill up, bring useful skills to what they want to do, and get people into better places with some education overall around the world.
Amazing. Thank you, Andrew and Team 1. Team 2, do you want to share on why you picked the American Heart Association? Do you have anyone from team 2?
Yeah, I think we chose the American Heart Association because Dia has actually I think done a few marathons for them and she was really passionate about that. So
Amazing. We love that. Okay, team 3.
Hello everyone, this is Kevin from Team 3. I mean, our decision to support the Scholarship America, I guess, is stemmed from the fact we have a shared commitment to empowering students and breaking down really the barriers to higher education and internship. And we recognize that the pursuit of knowledge in many cases is very expensive and it's hindered by financial constraints. So we believe that investing in education is the most impactful way to nurture future leaders. So I guess that fall perfectly into the mission that the McKinsey Alumni Network is aiming at. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Kevin. Do you have anyone from team 4 who wants to share?
Yeah, we chose Coaches Across Continents, particularly I think because it's a cause pretty close to my heart. I worked with them last year on field, and the basis of what they do is that they use purposeful play to work towards the UN sustainability goals. So the community that we're working with, or the charity or schools we work with all over the globe, and then they get to pick between 1 and 3 UN sustainability goals that they want to work towards, and we coach their coaches and coach the kids on purposeful play. And last summer, the things that we were working towards were sexual and reproductive health and gender-based violence reduction. And I just saw how their money was being allocated, and I felt like it was being allocated quite effectively. And I think sometimes it's hard to tell whether charities, the money that you donate, is really getting put in the people who need it most. So I think that was special for me to see and kind of work with the kids. So I felt like it was a good way to give back to them.
Absolutely. Love that personal firsthand experience. And we have team 5.
Hi, this is Ajay from Team 5, and we would love to help St. Jude's Hospital because their mission is to help the survival rates of children with cancers and other catastrophic diseases worldwide. And we as a team believe that there is no reason why any child should have to even worry about something so terrible like that. And we would love to be able to help these children be able to live their fullest lives and be able to explore whatever opportunities that they want to explore, whether they be a doctor, an engineer, or even whatever. But we just want them to be able to succeed and be able to be healthy. And we thought by helping out St. Jude's Hospital, we'll just help one life at a time.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh, Natalia, you can
No,
go ahead.
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you so much for thinking so deeply about social impact and having a lot of intention in picking the charity that you would like to donate to. I think off to Natalia, I think the next part for us is deliberations, that everyone can take a little bit of a break.
Yeah, so guys, we're going to take about 10 to 15-minute break. I'd say 10. I would ask everyone to be back in front of the computer so you can shut down your videos for now and turn off the microphones. And I'm going to pause the recording. We're going to escape to a breakout room with the judges.
Natalia,
Yep.
can we just put a time certain, make it 12:15? Because I would like to have an opportunity to look at some of the presentations again and make sure that we're commenting on the right ones.
Yes.
So let's just make it 12:15. Everybody's back on for the final.
Yes, and Stella, did we receive that 5th final presentation? Do you have it? Just
Yes, so I have only received the presentations from team 4 and team 5.
Okay, I have
team
the
3,
rest.
4, and 5.
I have
Yes.
the rest.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, I just
Awesome.
wanted to make sure you have that last one that didn't make into my inbox, that's all. Okay, so guys, let's get back. What time, Wade, are we getting back again? Say that.
12:15. That's
12:15,
25 minutes
so
from now.
25 minutes break. The session is staying on. I'm just pausing the recording for now until we're back from the breakout room. Okay, guys? All right, sounds good. See everyone at 12:15, and Stella will send out the reminder 5 minutes before we need to get back. Pausing and putting the judges into the breakout room. Thank you. Okay, hi everyone. Hello everyone. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, great. So the judges committee is back into the main room, and I am going to give a word to Wade Hansen, who is going to announce the winners. Exciting moment, and cheers to everyone. Okay, Wade, you're on.
Awesome. And do we have mostly everybody back?
We have 30 people out of 33. I saw the biggest number, so yes, I would assume so.
Awesome. Okay. Well, first of all, I would just like to say, look, this was an awesome first strategy sprint. Having been a consultant, 6 years with McKinsey and really the rest of my life since then, it was fun to have people presenting a solution to me. I don't have the budget in my life to be hiring McKinsey to solve problems on a regular basis, but do have the blessing of a very robust network of alums that will noodle through problems. So I'll just say some of the things in general that I liked. There was good ideas in each of the 5 presentations. I think anybody that was listening, would recognize in the other team's presentation, wow, we should have thought of that, or that's a good idea. So I don't think there was one solution that by itself would be what I would, act on. I think there's, pieces of each of them. So from that standpoint, everybody, contributed to what the overall impact's going to be of a decision. I did see, some of the groups employ very traditional McKinsey style situation, complication, resolution. Probably as a former consultant, I like that. It helps organize, what is the problem you're solving? What are the impacts that problem's having on the business, and how you're going to address it, and then the conclusions, wrapping that up in a neat bow. So few people stay at McKinsey for a lifetime. 20 years there might be a lifetime. But what you learn in consulting is meant to be applied in future roles with other companies, solving problems that are easy and in line with what you're used to dealing with, and some are very obscure, and that's why you hire outsiders to give you fresh perspectives. So I like that. I liked some of the teams that used visual to mock up what their recommendation was. It definitely takes things from an abstract into a more realistic way of thinking about it. I think we saw a pretty wide range of budgets. And I would just say, the ones that kind of hit best with me were either, self-funded or, kind of guerrilla startup type things. Not that it might not cost, $500,000 to put something really, cool together. But given this is not a McKinsey sponsored website, who has the $1 million to spend, I appreciated more creative ways to fund it. Crowdsourcing was a pretty cool idea. Ad clicks and membership fees, those are all, very relevant ways that this could be self-sustaining. I also like the idea that, there is this great network of McKinsey alums, so tapping the volunteer network is a very good way to do this. There's a lot of people that I know that would be willing to do in kind. So they either have software development in their business model, they have teams in India, etc. So lots of good use of the network to create something for the network. So I love that. And just one kind of overarching thing, or two maybe. One, the teams that more recognized this was the alumnus. This wasn't McKinsey's alumni department creating an opportunity, for the broader group. I think that was more on point with the strategy sprint objective. And the other piece was just whether, it stays McKinsey only, it becomes elite only, but expands out, or it becomes elite plus some amount of I'll say, do good by giving people that didn't have the benefit of a McKinsey parent opportunities to participate and connect with opportunities, mentorship, etc. So that's all great. So to get down to the two teams that we unanimously felt were the best in the group, and I think something that both of them shared in common was acknowledging that a freshman's experience is different than a senior, that there are opportunities that a senior is going to be better prepared for, whether that's experience or just education in the field, better understanding of where they're trying to get to, where a freshman's still in exploratory mode, and so I washed dishes for 4 years through college, so I had no exposure with coffee talks or mentors or anything like that to decide that I ultimately did not want to be the accountant that I had studied for. So I think that was an awesome concept. I think both of these groups introduced. But the difference, I think, wasn't that one idea was better than the other. And this is difficult to hear because you probably will feel like, wow, we could have fixed that. But we're going to give the silver medal to team 2. And, there was just some really glaring issues with a couple of the slides and spelling mistakes that once you kind of saw that, it was hard to get past. I know that one of the things when we were preparing presentations for a board that, the boss would say, look, a mistake anywhere is a mistake everywhere. And if you can't spell it right here, what's the implementation going to look like? Where else am I looking for mistakes? So team 2, great work. Loved a lot of the ideas, but the winner is going to be team 3. And I think the combination of all 5 is really, if I was going to say, who won, it's the notion of this internship portal or platform that's the real winner. And I think all of you should be commended for the contributions to pushing that forward. I also love the idea that this is the beta group. Like we can't start serving 1,000 people in a first swallow. So having an opportunity to give this group, more say, more interaction with the solution, if you will, or whatever we get out of here would be great. And since there are some other mentors on the line, I'm going to stop talking and maybe some of you can just add your comments. First of all, appreciate your participation, but more voices should be heard than just mine. So if any of you want to say something, that'd be great.
I'll jump in. Thank you so much, first of all, Wade, for organizing all of this, and Natalia and Stella and all your guidance throughout. It was so much fun for me. It was, not much time. Our team really didn't lean on me too much. But it was so much fun. And the time that I spent really just, thoroughly enjoyed hearing the ideas and of course would be excited for this, to come to more fruition. So, thank you for letting me be a mentor. And I was just so impressed with all of the presentations today. I mean, I think Wade, like you said, I did not have coffee chats or, anything like that. I certainly would not have been able to put together this kind of a presentation of caliber of any of the ones that were there. So really impressed with all 5 teams and grateful to have been a part of it. Thank you.
Yeah,
David?
we had good conversations behind the scenes and stuff. And Wade, we just wanted to throw out there that if you actually turn this into a business, we're hoping we all get a little bit of a ownership share.
Well, I tell you what, it's not a business. I've toggled back and forth. If it was, it probably would do better than it will under my guidance. But it is more of a passion project. And I think everybody here can agree, we want the best, not just for our kids, but just to create opportunities that we didn't get until we got lucky and found, McKinsey and all the things that we found after that. So it's alumnist is an actual domain I picked up over 10 years ago. It's just always fascinated me. internship thing and education. If I wasn't trying to do something, I would be doing education. And probably we'll circle back, but you know, it's for discussion. Should this be the beginning of something that has a for-profit aspiration? Because clearly it serves a need that I think everyone that investigated couldn't find that there was just a clear answer to. And so maybe it's a nicely kept secret that we know of and benefits a, you know, reasonably small number of people, or we find a way to scale it without it becoming all the noise of what you guys already found, right? It's too many people applying for too many jobs that they're not qualified, and it loses the intimacy that David might have taking a call from any one of you on the screen to help you think about your career. You know,
Okay.
I have all that time in the world, but not time enough for everybody that might ask for that if I opened it to the universe.
Okay, thank you, Wade. Andrew raised his hand, so please go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, just to echo, thanks again, Wade, and everybody for putting this together. It was Todd and I had a good chance to watch the team kind of go through everything at arm's length, and then as we got closer, prepare for the progress review, turn the deck, iterate, all, you know, fewer words, more, you know, so what's and all that kind of stuff. It was a memory from a good long while ago. One of the big takeaways was I thought the MVP and having the layout there was really useful. But seeing what the alumnus could be as the pre-filter between the interns and the actual jobs, quote unquote, on the other side, that being that middle person or curating sort of a function was something I hadn't really considered before. So there might be a real opportunity there. And to echo what you said, standing in the shoes of the student and just what a chaotic kind of environment it can be. I heard a lot of things like, have to remember when my next application is, how many of these things do I have on the go? Anything we can do to help structure, you know, put some clarity in the chaos could be a real value add. And then also connecting companies with might not be the most expensive, but really hardworking kind of asset there. I think there's a real opportunity to leverage. Those are the takeaways I took from today.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Andrew. We have Robert next, please.
Yeah, echoing it, just a huge thank you to Wade, Natalia, Stella for setting this up. I think this is such a special and unique opportunity for these students. Just credit and kudos to all the teams. One thing I want to point out is, you know, if we think the mentors are busy, I think the students here are busier than any of us. And so effectively in the span of a week, to see all of these teams go from being prepped to what we saw today is actually very impressive. Different time zones, different schedules, coming back from spring break, going on spring break. And I know all the teams, a few in particular, but logistical challenges. And I think, you know, Wade, I told our team, it sort of models what a classic consulting engagement is like. Complex teamwork across geographies, one outcome, and you don't quite know how you're going to get there when you start, but you figure it out. And so just credit to everybody who had to just do crazy gymnastics schedule wise to get together and get to these outcomes. It's really impressive in such a short period of time.
100%. I agree with that. Natalia, anybody else with their hand up?
Let me check. Give me a second, guys. Yes, Deep, please go ahead. Deep wants to say something.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Hey, it was really good to hear from all of you. You know, one thing that you guys might not realize, but you know, one of the best parts of McKinsey is its network. And you guys are now 30 so people who are now networked. So I really, really encourage you all to keep connected with each other, you know, find out what each other is doing, because all of you guys are going to be doing amazing things. And so beyond the problem solving that we did, just keep in touch with each other. If you connected with somebody while you were doing this, that could lead to something downstream that'll be great for you all. So I really encourage you guys all to keep connected. That's probably the most valuable thing that I got from McKinsey, was getting to know other people. And this is a great start for you guys. So Wade, thank you for arranging it. And I encourage you all to keep connected.
Yeah, this is, I think one of the groups used the word a forum. This is clearly the first forum, right? You've had a little battlefield experience. stuck in a foxhole with people you didn't know and didn't choose. And that's exactly life, at any career that you're going to, start out at, certainly in consulting. You kind of get what you get. And then, being able to work through the timeline. I agree, Robert or whoever said it, the gymnastics that college kids go through. My daughter was even too busy to participate in this. So I'll just say that's pretty bad when the guy who had the idea couldn't get his own kid to participate. Dad, I just got so much to do. And we know I have some D1 athletes that, flirted with playing, in the competition. So here's the next steps. I'm going to work with the team leaders to get connected the funding for the prize money to your charities. And I think it's going to be through the people that agreed to sponsor it. We're just going to make direct contributions. This is not a business, so there's nothing we're going to collect money and send it out. And then I think for the people that are interested, I would like to continue this on because it wasn't, I picked this topic so that it was actually useful. And not just a, McKinsey case example, like why is a manhole cover round? Who cares at the end, but they just want to test your thinking. This is more because I really did care to get good ideas on how to move this forward. So, it'd be great if participants on any or all of these teams were interested in moving forward. I think, like I said, it's a collage of the ideas that were brought together today as a first progress review, and work on those a little bit more to try and blend ideas to get us some kind of an MVP. And this wasn't a one and done experience for not just this group, but for the people that will participate behind you. So we'll do that offline. It's not a need for anything more here. But again, thank you for taking time during the week, a good chunk of your weekend. And just awesome results. I can't say how pleased I was. And once again, Stella, for bringing this into my life, this whole strategy sprint hackathon idea. What a cool thing. And I'm sure this will be a mainstay going forward. So, and some of you hopefully will become mentors now that it's been recorded and you've done it. Whoever comes behind you is going to ask, well, gosh, what was that like? And you'll have some experience to say what it was like.
Yes, guys, and there's a few final things to add to that is I will upload the recording on the private link so only the group can access it in case you want to rewatch it. So it will be online, but it will be in private access so far because it's like an intellectual property of the teams and the sprint until we have it launched, I guess, and fully set. And also we'll be sharing the list with everyone's contact information. So expect to see maybe an email or 2 or 3 from us so we can keep you all connected. And yes, whoever is interested in contributing more to the project, there may be a team put together out of the current participants to keep developing that idea, like we said already. Okay. So.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, and have everybody enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys, and congrats to
Thank you.
the winners again,
Thank
and
you.
congrats
Thank
to
you.
all the
Thank
teams
you.
who beat
Thank
the
you,
teams
everyone.
to participate.
Everyone, have a good one.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
guys for setting this up. I know it probably took a ton of time, so we really appreciate it.
Thank you, Caroline. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Okay,
you.
I'm going to end the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, Talia.
Mhm.